Ladies and gentlemen, we're coming back. Hope you enjoyed the Cold Plunge Cold Calls. This is George Carmona, the host of Gridiron Junkeez, and I want to lead you into our next segment of the Podcast Junkeez Network 24-hour. This segment is Content Junkeez. As you can see here, there's a fancy little TikTok versionized Content Junkeez logo here. We have Robert Condell, Austin Alvarez, myself, and John Orlando on this panel. And we want you to know that this panel is brought to you by The Problem Solver. You got a problem? He'll solve it. 5-star ERC experts. Maximize your credit today. Priority Tax Relief. April 15th is on Monday. Don't forget it. Use Priority Tax Relief. 1-844. Call Sam. Yes. Just call Sam. One of the best attorneys in town. Trust, strength, and diligence. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. Now we are going to lead you to our hosts, Robert and Austin.
I like his radio announcer.
Yeah, he's really good at that.
It's like AM radio.
Yeah.
It brings us back.
Yeah. Well, you back. You guys back.
Yeah.
You guys are the old guys here in the room. But welcome to Content Junkeez, everybody.
Damn. I always forget you're...
44?
That's crazy! How are you 44? The fuck out of here.
Sober for 10 years, guys.
Let's go.
That's what happens. Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's crazy. I did not know you were 44.
No
nuts.
way.
Travis found out when I titled this, like, between the two of us, we have, like, almost 30 years of experience in, like, editing and content creation.
Yeah.
Travis is like, how?
I had a full year career in Hollywood. So, John, can I just say something?
Yeah.
Of course.
You guys have built a network, like, from the ground up. I'm super impressed. I'm just watching everything happen. Like, I went in, I used to do full production, right? It's post-production, and you guys just, like, are the epitome of do-it-yourself. Like, start up, do it yourself. We don't need anybody else. Fuck everyone else. Like, props to the Sticky
Thank you,
Paws
man.
crew.
Thank you, Robert.
I mean, I'm impressed. Yeah, you guys are badass.
I just still blown away you're 44. Like, I literally, if you would have said 25, I'd have been, it was 25. Like, I figured you all went to school together and all that shit. I don't know.
Well, George, Travis, and I,
Right, I know, but I mean,
Not
like, to
Robert.
me, he looks 25.
Thank you. I'm telling
What's your
you,
secret?
sober, man. 10 years sober, fasting, watching your diet.
Every day you fast?
Every day. I used to have really autoimmune issues.
Yep.
Right? Huge acne. I still kind of get it, but fasting does it, man. Like 16 hours minimum.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just kind of low carbs.
You're shredded.
Low carb. Yeah, I mean, I don't have a lot of body fat.
Yeah.
Low carbs and just. It's hard, man. I love like that. You offered me a McDonald's sandwich.
Right.
Every part of me wanted to eat
Robert, I think you're confused on what the Fitness Junkeez isn't up yet. This is Content Junkeez.
Yeah.
Okay,
you can eat some bullshit.
Fine,
Yeah, we can eat bullshit.
All right,
Fitness Junkeez.
Until Gary Brecka gets here,
Yeah,
anything
then-
goes.
Is he coming?
Yeah,
Is he coming?
he's coming in a little later.
That's the 10X guy coming?
Yeah.
Today?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's on a
And
private jet.
You've been doing 10X.
It'll be 2 years in November.
How do you feel?
Great. Yeah. I lost 35 pounds. I didn't even know I needed to lose 35 pounds.
Wow.
I didn't know. You don't know till you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't realize what you're carrying around. It's crazy. It's
Hi,
easy.
everybody. I'm Gio Elmore. Nice to be here with us on Fitness Junkeez. But we obviously have Mr. John Orlando, head of the network. We have George Carmona, who made that amazing video we just watched.
You're welcome.
It was fantastic.
Nice little one-shot shoot. We did have iPhone cameras that were filming bits of it too, but I hate the look. If you're gonna be shooting in 4K, I got to use that single
keep
cam.
it.
And it was one of those edits that really opened my eyes to what Travis was talking about. Is like sometimes your favorite YouTube creators, you hate the fact that they cut out so much. You want to feel like you're a part of the crew, even the dull, boring moments. Leaving in there, because I had initially cut that down to right around like the length it was now, and I like myself knowing that like beats and everything, I was like, I feel like I could chop another 5 minutes off this. But then Travis was like, you know what? I feel like a lot of people, when they go back and watch this, they're going to want to see all the little in-between parts, and they're going to wish that there was more. And I was like, damn, is that really going to it was a content shift for me.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, because you come from the Hollywood background.
Yeah.
Like, you are like required to make things a certain length.
Well, YouTube's also different, right? You're editing for retention. You guys are literally, when I watch this stuff, it's a reality show. I worked on reality shows.
Yeah.
Like I worked on The First Apprentice, right? So when when Donald Trump was off camera, he was normal. Camera's on.
You turn it on.
You're turning it on. I'm turning on right now.
Right.
So we're all bricked up right now. Thanks to Riz Pharma.
I'm so hard right now, guys. You know, but you got to.
Shout out to Riz Pharma.
I call it hamming it up for the camera because people are so they'll just swipe away if you're boring, right?
Correct.
I mean, you know what I mean? It's like if you're not saying anything of value or you're not entertaining anybody, people are just gonna swipe away. And I think that's like something I try to coach people with when I do their content. I'm like, you have to be like here or there. Otherwise, there's so much competition for content right now that it's
for sure.
You're like, you know, how do you stop the feed? How do you stop the scroll? You know, so that's it. I mean, you guys are doing it. You guys, like, the edit was sweet. I was watching it. I'm a pretty critical editor. Too.
Yeah,
that's where I started as a 24. I was doing like TV, Spike TV, UFC, Zuffa was coming to us.
Really?
We would do the promos for UFC back in the day.
Wow.
You remember Zuffa?
Of course.
They're right behind us.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's where we were onlining those shows, getting it ready for broadcast. So it's like kind of coming full circle.
So you were an online editor, correct?
No, so I was an assistant editor first.
Right. Okay, but you ended up being.
I slept on the couch and I didn't go to school like you guys.
Well, I mean, I dropped out, so we're kind of the same.
Yeah, I shadowed this like 3 badass editors and just like slept on the couch, lived out of my car, and just like kind of, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? And just did that. And then they were like, here, go get coffee. Did the PAs thing for a little bit. And then I remember my break in content was they were editing a DVD behind the scenes for this show, for this movie called Saved. It was Mandy Moore, Macaulay Culkin. It was like a Christian.
Yep.
You remember
that movie? Oh, yep.
And so Mandy Moore had a song there, God Only Knows. You can still look this up. God Only Knows from the Beach Boys. And it was a DVD behind the scenes. And they were like, you need to edit this music video. None of the editors could cut it. I stayed up all night, edited the music video. No notes from all the senior editors. And they're like, okay, you're an editor now.
Wow. So you saw an opportunity and you ran with it.
They just kind of gave it to me. I was just in the right place at the right time. Sort of like kind of just, you know, they saw me like hustling. I was living out my car. I was working for free. I wasn't making any money, you know?
Right.
I came from Vegas to Hollywood to do that. And that's how I started. And so like that was 2004.
I think I found it,
dude.
Holy shit,
Travis! I have my I
was cruising
switcher open.
Oh my, it's.
But I think I found
Mandy
it.
Moore saved. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That is wild.
You might get demonetized because it's a Beach Boy song.
We're not going to play it.
Yeah.
I don't have audio hooked up. I just want to see it.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to find you in this huge list of.
I think it's Austin MacBook Pro.
So 24. I'm 44. I haven't stopped editing.
That's great. So what was the bug that made you want to start?
It was just.
I got it.
It was because I have ADD, right? And I feel like I can accomplish something from editing.
Let's take a look.
Yeah.
Yep. So here it is. Plays. So this is you.
That's me.
This is Robert. This is Robert's debut in editing.
Wow.
17,000 cuts right there.
Thank you, Travis.
Now, did you cut it in this resolution?
This is SD footage, guys. This is standard definition. This is how old I am.
Were you editing on tape?
They called it the
linear
masters.
editing?
The masters are called Digibeta.
Digibeta.
Yeah,
okay.
Digibeta, digital beta cam.
Okay.
So that's where they mastered digital format at the time, and they were these big machines. This is before everyone transitioned to high definition.
So what were you using Avid at this time?
Yes, this was an Avid system.
And Avid is still used, like, Travis, arguably, I mean, I know
Standard still.
Premiere has now had a few Oscars under it, but like...
Yeah.
But
Jesus
you
Christ.
get it. You get it, right?
Robert, my God.
You get it.
That 5 seconds took you probably 4 hours.
I know. It's just so, you know. But
hey, Robert said, hey, they gave me a chance. I'm going to knock it out the fucking park with this one.
Nobody could get it. You know what I mean? And because there were some...
Did they just
parts
not have
where
time?
Mandy was just singing, and I made her kind of look like she was singing the video. You know, so it was like, this was my chance, you know, type of thing.
Right. So, okay, off the top of your head, do you remember how long it took you to do this?
Probably a night.
You did this all in a night?
Yeah.
I mean, he was like us.
That's all I
Yeah.
had. Yeah, that's why I love you guys. You guys are like, you guys fucking do it.
And back then, the tools you had are not like today, right?
Well, they were these big Avid systems, right? Like they were it's basically Pro Tools owns Avid. Yeah, so that was the industry standard. So
Still kinda is.
They still cut reality shows on there, and then
Okay.
Final Cut happened.
Yep.
And then Adobe Premiere. I mean, this is 2004, so we were like using Mac OS 9.
Oh my god!
I feel old. Thank you. Yeah.
Did you have the egg?
It's
Did
just
you have
so
the egg Mac?
impressive.
Yes.
The egg Macs. You
We
remember
had
those?
Yep. Yeah.
There's the
We were
Mac
burning
that,
things
that's
on
shaped like an egg.
CD.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you
the
something
CD?
crazy with people right now. 10 years after I started this other company, and we had a closed caption department, meaning the subtitles you guys have now. There's an entire department listening to DVDs of movies, typing the words.
Oh my God.
And then you burn in the closed caption in the television. There's like this format, like lines, and just it looks like you're flying an airplane. And you're
Like
burning the closed caption into the TV. So now I'm just seeing this like AI captioning.
Right.
There's no jobs like that anymore. That literally wiped out.
Now,
the
how many of
entire-
those people in that department were on antidepressants?
They were a weird crowd.
Yeah.
Weird, like on the spectrum, weird, or
They were special. They were
okay?
special. Yeah.
I mean, we kind of harness that too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to harness them in. You got to wrangle them in, and
You got to be
They were
really
great
good at
people, though.
English.
Well, yes,
Yeah,
You got to be like stupid good.
Like, so word for word, they're typing closed caption. That's what that is.
You bring up a good point, though. Like, it wipes out a lot of jobs.
Oh, my God.
So what happens?
Well,
It's
I'm just thinking about you guys as editors, right? You evolve into the next thing. I feel like you guys are always on the pulse.
Right.
So you guys here at Sticky Paws, you make content creation super accessible to people without studio budgets. That's what I see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like somebody
well
comes,
said.
like a business owner comes over here with a marketing budget of X. I mean, that's still fucking pretty good. Your prices are really good for
Right.
what you guys offer. And you offer distribution.
so we should
which is
we should
very,
charge
very
more, is
hard.
what you're saying?
It's crazy, but people complain about pricing still.
yeah, they still do.
Well, people are cheap.
They just don't know. They
don't
know.
understand.
They don't know what they're getting.
Yeah, and also context, right? Like for me, I come from the Hollywood budget,
Right.
Like, you know, when
Come
we
in
were
millions,
doing,
right?
when we were doing like Netflix sci-fi shows, onlining a show was $5,000 per episode, right?
Right.
And that
Just for you.
That pays for that. That was a low budget show. Let's just say Face Off,
Right,
Like,
when
I
it first started.
I think they came to us $5,000 or $6,000 an episode, and it was like 6 seasons.
But that was
So
all
it
they were paying the
compounds.
online editing team, though, right?
No, that was complete with
Production and
mixing. Yep, online color, like
Everything in post.
yeah.
Okay, so all the
everything
post work.
Yeah, everything
Okay.
post. No, we were a facility after post. We were. So
Oh.
what happens is production happened.
Yep.
There was editing.
Yep.
They had their in-house editors, like 20 editors. Then they go to a vendor to do the online. So basically,
So you were the vendor.
online is let's get it ready to air. And we were a company that did that. So I was the online editor. The tapes came in. I spent 2 days digitizing the tapes. It was like hard. They were filming still.
Right.
This is
Yep.
before file. And we would spend 20 hours digitizing all the tapes. And then the studio execs would come in, and then we'd color the show. We'd mix it in-house. They do final notes. We do a quality quality check, and then we add captioning. So all those were like, that was my post house. It was completely post-production. Yeah,
That's crazy. So what I really wanted to do with Content Junkeez today was I wanted to talk with George, Travis, and myself about what it took to get this to happen.
Yeah.
Because especially yesterday was like a mad dash, but like the last 2 weeks, George has been cooking.
Yes.
I've been trying to help where I can. Travis is most of those graphics were Travis on the back end, like all the guest stuff. So I kind of wanted to open it up to you, George. Like, in difference between the years before, what was much more different about this year in terms of the back end with content creation and like asset creation, really?
Well, I'll tell you that 2 years of practice before this really helped in understanding the stress level. I'll tell you a story that will show the evolution. The first year we did the 24-hour, I vividly remember us making these guest promo graphics for Action Junkeez.
I remember that.
And it was probably 9 o'clock at night, and we're probably a week away. And John calls me and says, we need these graphics made tonight. Like, there's no ifs, ands, but like, we need it tonight. And I remember hanging up the phone, throwing my phone like on the bed. and I literally like fought my shower curtain. I was like, I've been doing every fucking thing
can
around
you guys
here.
back up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
somebody who doesn't know what the hell is going on, can you give me a quick what was the 24-hour podcast? What brought this to? What was this? What's the history here?
Literally,
Yeah.
just something to do.
Yeah.
I wasn't even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't know. I was trying to think of,
Well, it's
obviously
different.
there's.
I'm going to say it's different and it's unique. That's why I'm asking.
I was just trying to think of how can you build a buzz when you're unheard of. No one knows who the hell you are. No one still knows who I am. But, I was just like, what could you do that would get people excited? It's interesting. I said it on my live on the way over. So I'm chomping on this McDonald's McGriddle. Shout out to McDonald's. Not a sponsor, but they should be.
Should be, especially for the 24-hour.
I wanted to do something to shake it up, to make it different. There's so many friends of mine that don't listen to the podcast, right? But for whatever reason, they tune in on the 24-hour. It's like a mind fuck. Cool. It's like it feels like something, it's an event. It's like, okay, this one's special. This is different than your normal weekly nonsense.
Yeah.
Let me see what you're up to.
Got it.
And it generated a lot of, especially this year and last year, a lot of sponsor money. It's good.
Yeah.
It's like a good hook. It gets people excited.
So John's the idea. Who executes everything? So you did the graphics. Is Travis?
Yes.
So Travis
walk me through the
Travis
process,
has been here the whole
there.
time.
Just give it context for people who don't know what's going on.
100%. Yeah.
Oh, is that me?
Yeah.
It's you.
So, so the 24-hour, John is a fabulous idea maker, but he's a horrible implementer.
Well said.
And I think when I joined John in his podcasting venture about 4 years, like in March 2021 is kind of like when I went all in. He just says, I want to do this. And then my first reaction as a young lad was just be like, oh, God. Oh my God!
This guy.
But then, I started to reframe myself. Okay, there's obviously things that, the World Trade Center or whatever, the sphere gets built in stages. There's prep, there's action, and then ultimately it takes money. So I just got better at planning and anticipating bigger issues. So when it came to the first 24-hour, I was just like, make it stay up for 24 hours, minimum requirement, and because I didn't even know if it was possible, if technology could make it happen. But my approach to these are. Sorry, what was the specific question?
I just wanted to know, so how are you implementing the 24 live stream?
Oh, I'm implementing it?
Yeah, how
it's
are you
basically
doing?
So now it's just a culmination of all of our shows. But before it was, I took John's background, which is something to do, and I was like, okay, let's just I can't fail. If I only fail if it doesn't get up, if it doesn't go live for 24 hours.
So we're literally on for 24 hours.
Yeah,
this
correct.
Is the guy behind the scenes.
And you had to break it up at the time.
Yeah, so
when we started, right?
24-hour live streaming wasn't really a thing about 4 years ago. It actually was considered an unhealthy thing. Twitch, Facebook, YouTube wouldn't let anybody stream longer than 8 hours. So I had to create 4 8-hour live streams and transition and use OBS and a bunch of different things. Wow. But now, thankfully, shout out to Switcher Studio, which kind of runs our productions here, has enabled us to kind of keep these productions high quality at a low cost. But ultimately, it's just kind of we just throw something at the wall and see what sticks. You can see, we're live on Content Junkeez now, and when this segment's over, we're going to stop it, but we're going to be live on Action Junkeez and Junkeez Network YouTube. You're going to see, nothing's perfect. I mean, we're not an ESPN broadcast, but it's damn near perfect.
Yeah.
It's we're trying our best to get it done. And honestly, that's what I expect from my guys. Is if I don't see they're giving them their 100% or whatever percent, 100% of whatever they can give that day, then I'm mad. But outside of that, I haven't seen that from anybody in our team. Every single person has showed up 100% for themselves and for each other. And that's how this thing is created because, in the beginning, it was just me and John, right?
Yep.
So I only could do what I could do with the graphics and time that I had. Then we had George, and then Austin joined the team. And now we have interns, we have editors, we have Trey in the back, doing a flight simulator. Then our goal is to just let's do this again in the summer, but every 30 or every hour or every 2 hours is all of our shows. We have over 19 Junkeez shows. So there's just things we can do. And ultimately, it's scary. And it probably could be legitimately said it can't be done. But I don't like that answer. I don't. So I want to kind of get it out there.
So this year is very different. So Travis, what and maybe we'll go back to George with this, but how have the rules changed for this year as opposed to? Because I remember the first time I started 5 days before it. I got hired on, and then George is like, "Hey, welcome to
This is your third one?
Yes, this is my third one.
Yeah.
Okay. And George is like, "Guess what? We're doing a 24-hour live stream. I need you to start making graphics." I was like, okay, that was my first thing I ever did here. Was making some of those guest graphics.
It ties it back
So how
together
long
with
did
the
you make
story.
graphics? How long did it take you to make the
For this year or for what?
So we would like start working on these, I would say a month in advance, because that's when the list was starting to really get finalized 2 years ago. And then over the years, we've realized that we should probably make the guest promo graphics the week of, just because we have a better understanding of who it was. I can't tell you how many graphics I made for people that just either canceled last second or, just didn't show up. And that was annoying because I know how long it took. After you build a template, I guess that's really the thing that is what drives the ability to make so many graphics. Like, I remember the first year that we did it, we were doing individual Photoshop files for each guest promo. This year, we have a Photoshop artboard that has 100 graphics on it, and it's nice. It's a nice localized file for us to be able to make any quick edits, copy all the assets over easy from the template, and I think that tip alone has made this year's process a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
Because we're not having to, find the photo, drag it into the file. Like, now that we understand Photoshop a little bit more, it made it very
I guess, hold on,
simple.
just like to piggyback, templates are everything.
Yep.
Yes.
The only way we can do what we do at any scale is by just like, we can, like, every graphic is a piece of art. It's like, okay, we got the basic functionality, we got the logo on there, we got the idea, let's throw it together. Because again, with something like this, with our resources, again, if we were ESPN or UFC, we could have like a team of interns that are always just working on graphics the whole time, updating a Dropbox, so at any point, everything's up to date. We don't have that ability. So about a month prior, we're building templates, we're building structure, we're trying to figure out how the show will go, and then solidify nothing and be attached to nothing. So when things change on the fly, we're just like, cool. But as it gets closer, every day it gets closer, we're like, okay, we have to start making concessions. Like, if a guest shows up today, we're not making a graphic. Like, if they show up today, like they out of nowhere,
I might pump one out. I have a potential surprise.
But that's because you are not behind the rig. But for
Right.
when I was like back here alone,
right, and it was just you, or even like the 24 hours beforehand, like we were just kind of like, all right, it's done.
Right.
Like it's in there.
I mean, I could argue that this show needs a full-time staff year-round.
Oh
yeah.
Right?
100%.
To really take it to the next level of promo and putting stuff together and getting sponsors and lead time and really putting together like a whopper. Like this is like producing the Oscars. Like in a
you
sense.
guys are a production for sure.
Yeah.
You guys are a full production studio, content creation, full on. Again, like all the way through distribution and finding sponsorship.
Yeah.
PR company, if you want to throw that in there.
Sure,
too.
sure.
Because it's free publicity. Well, it's not free, but you pay for it, right?
Yeah.
What I think is interesting for you guys is you guys put in so much fucking work, and it's like you guys are relentless.
You have to
You
be.
guys just keep going.
You have to be in this industry because if you're not, the studio a block over will be.
Well, I think that's a lesson to people who are trying to do this, and this is why we get a little nerdy on like graphics and how much time you put into post-production and pre-production. People show up unprepared sometimes, and they're like, "How come my show isn't doing good?" Right?
Deal with it here.
We're a little guilty with Content Junkeez. We've just been busy, but like. It's just, there's a lot of work in this shit, right? Like, even if, like, you guys are talking for 24 hours.
Yeah.
That's work, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
people
John,
don't think it is.
How do you do it? How
people
do you
don't
keep going?
people don't think it is work, but it is, And also to bring something like this to life, the importance of relationships and how you manage those throughout the year. And I mean, like, if you guys don't know who all the sponsors are for this year and what my relationship was with them, and think about that. I mean, like, it's so important that you maintain reaching out to people throughout the year, and so that when you do need people to step up and support something you're doing, they don't feel like you're just calling in a favor. Like, they know you've been present in their life and you've been bringing them value for however long, so that when you do make these calls, the answer is yes. It's not always going to be yes, but still, at least you have a better shot at it.
Can I touch on that point?
Yeah.
And this is a very, very important point for maybe the younger guys out here.
Yeah.
Relationships, right?
Yeah.
Like the content is one thing, but if you don't do anything with the content, relationship wise, like podcasting right now is your new lunch. Let's go to lunch. Let's create content. This is why you have this facility and platform to build relationships. Am I wrong?
No, you're 100% right.
So
that's
it's like something content creators need to understand, because they get so wrapped up on the technicality of things, but what this is a community.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I mean, like a good example, I was on my Instagram live when we first started at 5 a.m., an hour and a half or whatever, a couple hours ago. And Randall Emmett produced Lone Survivor, Two Guns with Denzel Washington, The Irishman, directed by Scorsese, huge movie producer. Mm-hmm. He's been on the show a few times. He was in studio for the 24-hour 2 years ago. I didn't even bug him this year. I wasn't even going to ask him to be on, because it's like I also don't want to just keep going back to I've got the guys like Russell Peters and stuff like I don't want them to every year I'm calling here he is again. So I wasn't even going to. I didn't plan on bothering Randall. He happened to jump in the live. And I sent him, I was like, hey, where are you? Whatever. I sent him a link, and now he's on a jet flying somewhere. But he's like, when I land, I'll be back in LA in 6 hours. I'll click the link and I'll come on. But that's because I maintain that relationship throughout the year.
Yeah, the back end texts, right?
Right.
Like all that stuff matters, right? Like Austin texts me all the time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I have him roast my stuff.
He's just like, yo.
It's interesting that you say that, because John's backdoor text to me is making a clip and collaborating with them. So I feel like content is the best way to give somebody the most valuable gift in the world, which is I'm going to put you on camera and make you look amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have the skills now to do it like that. So John's text is my collaboration on a reel.
Yep.
And I think, it shouldn't be undervalued, the fact that you should go out of your way to make content for other people if you have the skills. And I mean, it's really basic. Everybody wants it these days.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's like our way of going about it.
Well, free value is something too, right? When you give something to people, they're going to return it to you guys, and you guys, I think you guys are, you're real. You guys are real people, and you guys are genuine, and you can see that it's not fluff. So you add that with this crazy crew of this community, like Sticky Paws Podcast Junkies. Then it's just like a formula to win. I see you guys in 10 years, literally being the number one podcast network. Yeah, you just have a good vibe. And I've been to Disney, I've been to Hulu, I've been to Netflix.
The big leagues.
I've been to the big leagues, right? Those guys are out to lunch. They're going to die soon because they don't embrace the organic, just being real.
Yeah.
There's too many This is the reason why I quit Hollywood.
Netflix gets it, though, don't they?
They're still not, a lot of them are because they have shareholders, right? If you think about what those studios are.
Right. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Those are publicly bought studios.
Yep.
And what is the goal?
The bottom line, man.
What's the goal?
The bottom line, the money. Yeah.
So they can't cuss. They can't.
Right.
They can't be who they are. They can't be who they are. This is what the next generation loves.
Yeah.
Is real shit.
Yeah.
This is why people are going to YouTube.
Yeah.
They're leaving Netflix to go to YouTube.
But YouTube's starting to become that way too, though, because there's some things you can't do on YouTube, which I get. There's obviously some things, but
but another platform will kick its ass.
I mean, they have Rumble, but I don't see it being.
But there's always going to be those disruptors. There's always going to be those.
Twitch was one of them.
Yep.
But now look at them. Now they're kind of dying off because YouTube stepped its game up.
It's crazy how many platforms come and go.
Well, I know the next one.
Huge.
I know the next one. Right?
Yes.
I'll take it.
It'll be
Just
our.
Don't corrupt it, John.
John.
Corrupt it.
Yeah, John. Don't corrupt it. Okay.
I'll never corrupt it. Travis was on a chat thread with me a couple nights ago. The sponsor was trying to shove what they thought their logo was down my throat, and I was like, nope, that's not a logo.
I mean, you guys are on because everyone, it's all personal brands. So you're following Travis, you're following George, you're following Austin.
Yeah.
You guys have your own interests.
Yeah.
So you're basically attracting your own tribes.
Right.
But what's unique about you guys is you all come together and still be cool with it. You know what I mean? It's just, that's what the world is, different people.
Right.
So I think that's what this community is. It really is just like do your own thing. We'll go be our own. We'll have our own voice.
Yeah.
And we'll just do some cool shit together.
I really love how these guys all have their special talent behind the scenes, and they're also all fucking rock stars on camera.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool. Like, they have it's like you have a dual personal brand.
Yeah.
Right? It's like behind the scenes, you wear so many hats, but you're a monster on that mic. So is Austin. So is Travis. And Travis was actually really behind the scenes until lately. I feel like you've really stepped more. I mean, you've been on camera and stuff, but you never really. Now you're like really pushing stuff, and it's been. I think it's great.
I'm more biz dev now.
Right.
Because we're opening up studios in different places. You got that, fancy little thing, but the meeting downtown, who knows what's happening? Like, I built this, and now I gotta give it to the people.
I think Travis knows where the money is.
Travis,
Travis.
I need you to wear a suit when you come in next time.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'll wear a suit. I'll tuck in my shirt, but not a suit.
Yeah.
If I ever see Travis in a suit, that'll be the day.
Yeah, it means
I'm
you're
choking him
probably
out.
at a funeral.
No, John. What that actually means is Travis is coming in. Sticky Paws, no more, guys.
Yeah,
we sold.
Here's your severance check.
He's rocking a Tom Ford custom suit.
Austin, I'm kind of hijacking your show because
What do you mean my show? It's our show.
I have I have questions for like the audience because I'm the audience too. So tell me about your shows. Like, what is Austin's show?
Okay, so really, I mean, like, I try to make Content Junkeez my show, but it, with being so busy and your schedule being hectic, mine being hectic, my main show is Bizarre Junkeez, and that is one that, like, I've had for a couple of years, but 2 Decembers ago it took off. I rebranded. I got incorporated by the network. It became Bizarre Junkeez, and then it became, originally it was just going to be a podcast, but now we're damn near Ghost Adventures.
Yeah,
Legitimately, like we just did another Ghost Hunt. Comes out next week. We're getting asked to go to travel. Now it's like we have somewhere in Illinois that wants us, somewhere in Ely that wants us, somewhere in California that wants us.
Would you ever sell your show to a network?
I don't think so.
Nice.
Because here's the thing, like you
Good
watch.
man.
I mean, like, yeah, the money will be amazing, but the freedom is like, what am I missing out on? Like
$1 million.
But okay, hear me out with this though. Hear me out with this.
Yeah.
Sell out. You yourself can go do it whenever the fuck you want on your own. Like, that's
correct.
To me, that's never been an issue. Like,
Maybe,
I told you a long time ago, I'm going to be the host of probably 30 to 40 shows throughout the remainder of my days. The one consistent factor in all that is me.
Yeah.
So
personal brand,
even if
dude.
you sell out, like,
Here's the thing.
I wouldn't even consider it selling out.
Maybe you guys need to have an intervention with me. I'm too prideful. I built that thing. I'm not just gonna. All right, have fun with it. It's like I'm not gonna pull a George Lucas because they fucked that up when he sold that. I mean, nothing. Only two good things came from that were Rogue One and Mandalorian, and they have a lot of duds since then. Like and another thing is, like, I'm tied to it emotionally. Like, I did it with Christian. I mean, he'd probably sell out. Like, realistically,
Yeah, but if you
he would
sold
sell
it out, you're gonna write your contract, dude. You would.
and
write
that's what I learned from John, because
conditions,
we the big goal is always like an acquisition, and I'm like, well, we built this thing. Like, I don't want to just be like, all right, I'm done with it now. Like,
But also, being acquired doesn't mean that you lose you.
Correct. And that's what John was
like. The
filling in on.
UFC,
perfect
sold,
example.
Yeah, the UFC was sold, but the funny thing is that they say we will not buy unless Dana stays. So there's going to be a situation where if Podcast Junkeez ever gets good, we will not sell unless everyone stays.
Yeah.
Now,
Austin. Here's the thing. All
yeah.
right. I'm Netflix. I'm coming to Austin right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a deal for you.
I
would
love
you
this.
let me? Would you let me? Would you let me put Bizarre Junkeez on Netflix? What's your price?
Legitimately, like,
Write down your conditions.
yeah. So obviously, I want to keep creative control.
Good.
I want to make sure that what's going in is what we do already. I don't want it to be
That's important.
Yeah.
Netflix is coming to me and being like, we want you to go and investigate this place that has no history, but it's a cool location, and we're trying to actually sell it as an Airbnb.
Okay.
No, I don't want to do that.
So, okay, what's the production budget look like?
$400 million a year. George, how much you need, George?
Realistically.
I mean, I and that's where I would go to somebody like Travis and be like, hey, he's my production guy. What is a realistic budget to where we can also have a little bit of profit so we can survive and let this thing build? But and that's the thing is, like, I think that's another thing is, like, you have to have a good team behind you. Like John says, like, I wouldn't want to make all the, like,
I would say
if Netflix comes to me, John is in that meeting.
I would say
100%.
$20,000 an episode.
An episode. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's my price for.
And I'm going to be honest. The only thing I would sell is distribution rights. That's it.
Yes.
We wouldn't sell IP.
Ownership.
I mean, because like
is
if they want to capitalize on monetization, or Netflix has, they want to give their, because the reason what they're buying is content, right?
Yes.
So they need subscribers to stay on for one more month.
Right.
So I'm not going to sell my IP to Netflix. I'm going to sell my content to Netflix, and they can buy it per episode. But I don't think John, unless the number has a B in the
It has to
front,
be a
like
we're all
like
buying islands.
correct.
Yeah.
Because what we built is unique, right?
Yeah.
And our goal is to do our own OTT platform. So if they don't want to compete with us, then they got to buy the rights for the distribution. And that's not an exclusive thing. That's a Content Junkeez distribution rights. That's Action Junkeez. So we could be on Sirius, our own OTT, our website, or YouTube. We're everywhere. Because the moment you restrict everything to one platform, now the point of Content Junkeez is the fact that it gets cut up to clips and then released to people on TikTok. Because most of the audience for this show isn't on our podcast.
Correct.
It's on our social media. So we know that, therefore we have to we create the content to that specific area. Like John's demographic does exist mostly on clips and the Spotify platform. So are we going to just abandon Spotify and lose all of our value?
It's the same thing with Bizarre. Like Bizarre, our biggest following is Facebook, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Really?
It's over like 100,000.
Yeah, it's 107,000 right now on
It's
Facebook.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And we did that in less than a year and you know why? It's not because I uploaded full episodes, it's because I uploaded shorts.
Yeah.
I uploaded, and we had a very strict schedule with it. Miguel, who is an intern here, who is helping me out with Bizarre, who's been a tremendous help. We were scheduling every hour from 8 to 8 every day had a clip coming out. And that's the luxury I have with the content I have where it's evergreen, where somebody like George, he's got to be on the ball every week for the entire season.
Yeah.
George, what's your show?
Gridiron Junkeez.
How long have you been doing it?
I'm going to be going. This is like 2.5 years now. I mean, obviously, we're in the off season right now. There's been a lot of free agency moves. I like my off season pivot, and I did this last year where I go to Madden, and this year NCAA football is coming out. So a lot of the football community, when the offseason hits, they kind of gravitate towards the Madden streamers. One of the biggest Madden streamers right now is Sketch. You've probably seen everybody going, Tuesday,
Hello, brother.
Hello, brother. It's taking over literally all of YouTube. So let me follow the trends. Off season, let me spend time focusing on playing video games. Everybody loves video games. And now this year they're adding college football, which my brother will be in.
In the game?
He'll be in the game.
That's pretty
It's
cool.
going to be sick. We literally talked about this when we were little. And so that's the off season. As soon as the season hits, I'm 7 days a week here at the studio because Sunday nights I come to record my show recapping my thoughts on what happened in the NFL so that way when people are driving to work Monday morning, they can listen to my recap.
Do you feel like...
Mind you, he's doing that while we're also producing 60-plus shows out
So
of
you
this
got
building.
a day job, you're doing your own content, but from doing this podcast, how many relationships have you just been...
Can you even count them?
I mean...
Yeah, what is it?
It's a game changer, isn't it?
Let
Yeah.
me rephrase
Socially, everything.
Let me
Street cred.
rephrase that question. How much from doing a podcast for something you like to do?
Yeah.
What came out of it?
One, to be truthful, a little sense of validation. I quit playing college football. And I think there was a 3-year span of my life where, I did coach and I announced football games on Friday nights for Las Vegas High School. But I think there was a bit of am I good at this? Do I know what the fuck I'm talking about?
Identity.
And within the first month that I had the Gridiron Junkeez YouTube channel, I got 2,000 YouTube subs. I had a short pop off from my second episode. It was insane. It was so quick that it didn't allow me to go through that struggle A/B testing phase.
Yeah.
I was I am from here to here immediately.
Well, validation for what? Did you have doubts?
Yeah, validation for, my football sense. I've been listening to AM talk radio my entire life growing up. Going in the car with my father, he always put on 1100, 920. So I knew how to have a little bit of entertainment factor behind the knowledge that you're spitting. You got to be opinionated. And I think in my head, I was like, do I have the chops?
Yeah.
And I think I definitely do now. I am co-hosting on 2 other shows, The American Fan and Veterans Minimum, all talking sports. And, I know that the
But you're a public figure now, though, too. You're on a bunch of shows now as just George. You as a person, you are the brand now, and just so happens to be tied with Veterans Minimum, American Fan, Gridiron. But now people... especially I've seen the shift where whenever I shout you out, I always go, I think he's going to shout out Gridiron. He goes, nope, follow Mr. George Carmona.
Yeah, follow out Mr. George Carmona because then you could see everything else. I mean, I work on 22 different podcasts out of here.
Wow.
And I feel more prideful about those than my own show. Because like I enjoy seeing other people's shows pop off and succeed. So yeah, what we've built here is crazy. John's, a really hands-off guy, and like, dude, without you, not micromanaging, like I don't think I'd be able to like live this full of a life.
John, what's your show?
Action Junkeez.
Yeah, what's that about?
So I kind of treat it like Rogan treats his, just it's whatever the hell he wants. But, I mean, obviously by name, I'm a big sports betting guy. I'm a poker, blackjack, degenerate, gambler. Love, obviously, UFC, guns, that kind of stuff. Anything that gets the blood flowing. I also make jokes, though, that I'm the complete opposite of Action Junkeez because I won't jump out of an airplane. I won't bungee jump. I'm actually...
You won't go to jiu-jitsu like Travis and I?
I'm false advertising. Yeah, it's been fun. I knew when I started Action Junkeez 7 years ago, 2017, January of 2017, I knew the vision was... eventually, sports junkies, football junkies, or whatever we call it, gridiron junkies, fight junkies, everything junkies. Pick a category and put junkies after it. That was always my vision from day one.
Why do you what gravitated you to all that stuff with action? Are you just an adrenaline freak, or do you like?
Yeah, I've been, I grew up basically in casinos because my dad is Tony Orlando, the singer, so he's performing in Vegas and all these casino towns. Well, back then it was just Vegas and Atlantic City, really. There wasn't casinos everywhere like there is now. But, so, you grew up in a coffee shop here in town, marking down Keno tickets when you're 8 years old, just you can't help but want to start playing blackjack and gamble and bet on sports. And I mean, you're around it. I was just raised literally in these Vegas casinos.
Yeah.
Because he's performed there. So I just always loved that. And I've been a fight fan, boxing back in the day, Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and then once the UFC came around, I was like, what is this? And just hooked since 2001.
And then podcasting. Let's talk about podcasting really quick.
Yeah.
And then do we have to go?
I think we got to wrap up here before too long. I was waiting for
we could
last question for John though.
Honestly, we can go for another 10, 15 minutes.
Okay.
So
Gio's setting up his props, though. He's ready to shoo us off at any minute.
Well,
I like it.
I only have 2 hours of the 24. So.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Well, John, so going into podcasting,
Yeah.
what relationships have you really solidified here with your platform at Sticky Paws?
I mean, it's been amazing. The shocking thing to me is in 7 years, I've had one, maybe two people that I have slid into the DMs and said, hey, I'd love to have you on my podcast. Only one that I know I can think of, but I'm sure there's got to be at least one other, but I don't really think there's more than two. No more than two people have said, how many listeners do you have? How many downloads do you get? No one cares. Nobody cares. Really cool. Yeah. I don't know why that is. And I mean, even big name athletes, like I slid into Bryce Harper's DMs. I don't even know Bryce Harper. And, he was like, yeah, I'll do it. We have yet to schedule. I mean, it's literally been like 3 or 4 years, but like, it's just because his schedule's crazy and then I drop the ball and I forget and life happens, whatever. But like, the guy hit me right back and he didn't hit me with like, what are your numbers? What is this? What is that?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm down. Like, he was like, I just had a baby. Like, give me right before the season, before spring training, let's make it happen, whatever. Again, it hasn't happened, but I've got plenty that did happen, from
value, dude.
Dana White. You went viral. We had Dana White in here when he broke literally the internet, and it was from that seat right there.
Yeah. Okay. It's when Dana said he had 10.4 years to live.
That's why I think. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's
took him out of it.
I'm like, whoa. That's why I think it's a relative building tool.
Yeah.
Like podcasting and communication. You're basically getting people's message out.
Yeah. And instead of if you're trying to do business, like I honestly think I'm probably too close to it, but I think everyone should have a podcast, because if you're trying to do business, this replaces asking someone to do your podcast replaces let's go grab drinks, let's go grab coffee, let's go to lunch. I mean, obviously you can still do those things, but this feels like, I think instinctively to anyone you're asking, like it's more value to them than just chopping things up at lunch. At lunch, if you say, hey, I want to go to lunch and pick your brain, people start, oh God, what's this guy want? Like, oh God, like it's
I always
not
say yes,
worth
it's free food.
Right, but there's many that at a certain level that's not enough,
right.
The free meal, right? But this replaces that, I feel like. And you bond to your guests, and then you go to lunch or dinner with them after you've sat down with them for an hour, and then the real work begins with that.
Right. So to kind of get ready to wrap up, we have Mr. Geo's Logic right next to us, and you were at the PR firm with
Look
John.
at the guns.
So like, you were like a partner with it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So when you guys were doing that, like, how much of that do you translate to today with your podcast with Fitness Junkeez?
Well, the whole space is essentially like what you were saying. It's PR. You know, it's a form of public relations, and it's so unique and it's so not old school advertising, and it's Fitness Junkeez is unique. It's whether you're bringing in a partner that's actually paying cash, which I've done,
right,
and or partners that are trading services. It's this vehicle that you can create relationships, you can get products, you can get. I mean, we got sponsors for this show. Like I think one single sponsor, just like you were saying, ask. Let's see the analytics.
Yeah.
No, it's bigger than that.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing on the only other side of that is once you get sent to their people or let me give you to my manager, then you get this funny thing. One time this random fitness trainer, she had the nerve to ask me how much she was gonna get paid. I said, next.
I get that a lot too. I get that, I need to be paid for my time. It's like, no.
You don't get it.
No, you don't get it.
I had that with a potential sponsor, and like, not to sound bad, but like they had their own show.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I'd love to partner with you guys. I already use your store. It's a store here in town.
Yeah.
I was like, I already use I go there all the time. And they're like, no, you're too small for us. And then I gapped them by 10.
said that.
Yeah. They were like, we already have our own show, and it's bigger than yours. And I had them on as a guest on the show.
Yeah,
and I gapped them, and I was like, I haven't talked to them about it, but I was like, really? Like,
yeah, it's weird when people play that card because you really don't understand social media then if that's what you're saying, because any clip can pop off.
Yes.
I've had it happen 3 times.
Right? That's the game we're all in. It's like any of these sponsors, like, so even when they ask you, what's your following, what's your numbers, I always tell them, like, it doesn't matter. All it matters is, and by the way, the clip doesn't have to have a famous person in to pop off, right? Dana White's, obviously, he's big name.
I had Matt Montague do 2 million.
That's the exact example I was going to give, is Matt Montague. Is, that guy, or even Adam Clausen, And we've also been so brainwashed or spoiled with, like, it has to be millions of views. 100,000 views on a piece of content, 50,000 views. It's a lot of people. There is not a billboard in town that 100,000 people see. They may lie to you and say, "Oh yeah, they do," but
definitely don't get the conversion rate.
And then it's not going to convert because it's one thing to see a logo or a billboard or an ad in a magazine or whatever. That doesn't make you want to engage with the brand. This can make you actually want to engage with the brand and the sponsor.
Yeah. Well, the personal brand lets you be who you are and fuck off to people you don't like.
100%.
It actually filters out your, what law of attraction is, right?
Yeah.
So that's what that does. It's like, I don't like this guy. Good. I'll probably not like you either. You know what I mean? So that's
why I don't want to sell out, because they remove that barrier.
Yeah.
Well, that's
you
why
have to play nice with this person. You have to play nice with this sponsor. It's like, no, if I don't want to, I don't have to.
Yeah.
That's what it's very. You guys are very punk rock. I'll say that. I come from a punk rock background.
I was a metalhead.
You come from a music
for a good while.
Yeah. So this Sticky Paws is punk rock. I'm doing my own thing.
You did it, Travis.
If you don't like my shit. Fuck you if you don't like this.
Yeah.
You come to me. Like, I'm providing you a platform to communicate your message, and you're asking me to pay.
Right.
Well, that's kind of rude,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, like, we're shit, this is expensive. It costs money to turn the lights on. This is you're paying people.
God, now he sounds like Marvin. Now he sounds like Uncle Marvin.
Okay, now what I need you to say is we're hemorrhaging money. Just say that. Just say we're hemorrhaging money. Robert, real quick, just say it.
Okay, like, I need you to Venmo Austin and John.
Right?
Yeah, just go ahead and to wrap us up, just say we're hemorrhaging money. No, because you said it.
To wrap us up, we need sponsors, basically.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we're thankful for the ones we have.
If you want to support the Sticky Paws crew, send us a sponsorship or talk to us, because we want to build this community. I think it's an amazing community. They're not paying me to say this. This is coming from somebody who's been in production for 20 years of their life. Sticky Paws is the next frontier. I'm gonna say
like
that.
it.
Next frontier.
I like it.
Star Wars is better, but I appreciate that. And I can't say that because I have a guest on Bizarre Junkies who worked on the latest Star Trek show, the one that just ended, not Picard.
On Star Trek.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he was a painter for the special effects, all that stuff.
Oh.
So he did like it's the guy with the alien who's like one of the characters.
Okay.
He did a lot of work on like painting that every episode. But
leveling up.
yeah. So, but to kind of wrap us up, because I know we got to get on to the next show, I just want to say thank you again to John for allowing us to kind of really take over literally the 24-hour this year.
It's fun.
It makes it easier for you, I bet, knowing, I don't have to come up with 24 guests or
for sure.
48 guests.
For sure.
But so stay tuned. I think we're going to go to a quick little graphic, and then we're going to have Fitness Junkies in next.
Cool.
Yeah.
set. Geo decking it out. We got push-ups coming up here soon. Travis. You excited for the push-ups?
Excited.
Can you add the settings to this bad boy?
Oh, you want
Yeah, add a little. Sauce it up a little bit. Yeah?
Sauce up. Zhuzh it up, you could say.
Zhuzh. All right. Let's follow around here. So we have our Junkeez games, scoreboard here. Obviously, no push-ups have been done, and Guess That Cryptid has yet to be done, but that's going to be coming throughout the